holiday season. Hey guys, it's Fatherhood Unscripted. DJ and Alec here, and we have Joe from You Matter Dad back. We're excited to have him back. We're excited to have him on the podcast and everything that he does and the insights that he's able to share. We absolutely love it. So thank you for being on our podcast. Yeah,
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Yeah. No. This is, we're right around the corner from Christmas. We're almost at the finish line. I know a lot of people are probably stressed to the max if you haven't gotten all your shopping done. Stores are crazy, even dollar stores. I was just at the dollar store yesterday. We do this thing with our kids where my wife's birthday is today. So happy birthday to my wife.
Happy birthday to her.
Yeah. But we do this thing where we take our kids to the dollar store and they can pick out presents for us for her birthday, and then we also do the Christmas as well. But even the dollar store, it was jam packed. Trying to navigate my three kids, come on guys, let's scoot by, let's try to find something. But yeah, it is crazy. It is a madhouse. It is, what is today, the 21st? So we're 4 days out. So yeah, it's yeah. But yeah, how's everything been going for you this holiday season?
This holiday season, yes. Yeah, it's busy. I feel like the time has just gone by so fast. I feel like it was just Halloween. My kids were counting down the days for trick-or-treating, and then poof, here we are, a few days out for Christmas, and I feel like it's a blur for a lot of people. It's just the busyness. If I feel like December, everyone has their holiday get-togethers, their family stuff, and so it's just every weekend's booked with something. It feels like, right? But it's been fun. It's been a good holiday.
Good.
It's crazy how fast it goes, but we try to enjoy every day as best we can.
Yeah, like you said, it gets crazy busy. It's just crazy how fast it goes during this year. Oh, it's Halloween, and all of a sudden, why is it January? What happened? But that's where we come as dads, and we hold down the fort, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We keep the peace. To say, that's our job. Fun as it is, and maybe as fun as it isn't sometimes. But we're all here. We're back, and we're having fun. And like we said, thank you for being on the podcast again. And
absolutely,
I sound like I'm ending the podcast, but I'm not. We're only 2 minutes in.
And that's it, folks.
See you guys next year. Merry Christmas.
We got lots to do.
If you guys are not watching the YouTubes, we've been doing it for a year now, and you should because you guys see our beautiful faces, and we're all in holiday fits, guys. Come on, DJ's got Snoopy. Come on, we're all looking good today.
Yeah,
or is
nice.
it Snoopy or is it the Red Baron? You got the onesie. See?
Onesie. Can't see it, but it's super comfortable.
I got Darth Vader.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, it's my wife's. I will say that it is my wife's, so it is a crop top, but it fits right.
Perfect.
But like DJ said, happy holidays to everyone listening. Happy holidays, Joe. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of different holidays around the world, different traditions. So let's get into that a little bit. Joe, is there any specific traditions that you guys do at your house?
Yeah, I feel like what's interesting is when we started having kids, the thought crossed my mind, man, what traditions are we going to have? And I was really thinking hard on it. And what's interesting is they just kind of happen. I feel like sometimes, maybe not for everybody. That's just the way that I've experienced them. But I do remember some traditions I've carried on, like popcorn balls. So we'll pick a day. There's not really the week before or 2 weeks before, but we'll make popcorn balls. So the whole kitchen island is just covered in popcorn. And so we'll make big popcorn balls. Each kid will just fill it and crunch it. And so they love doing that, getting their hands dirty. My wife will make cookies and treats for some of our neighbor friends. And so she's actually doing that now. So we'll do that closer to Christmas. I say we as in her. I don't have anything to do with that. I partake by eating all the extras.
You got to be the taste tester, right?
Yeah, I got to be the taste tester. Somebody's got to be it, right? It might as well be me. And so she'll do that. Then we'll do So we actually open Christmas presents at our house on Christmas Eve morning. And that tradition we've been doing for a while because on Christmas Day we'll go to my parents' house. All of our family, my sister and brother, and their
Mm-hmm.
spouses will come together on Christmas Day at their house. And so we figured it would be easier just to have Christmas Eve as our day, as a family celebrating Christmas. And so I'll go out and actually get Cracker Barrel breakfast,
Okay.
which is a new tradition. That was kind of a one-off. I don't remember the reasoning why I was like, we're just gonna go get Cracker Barrel breakfast for. I'm gonna bring it home, and I don't know. I think it was just we had a lot on our plate, and so I'm like, instead of me making breakfast, which I love to do, it's probably one of my favorite things to make. I was like, you know what? It's gonna be easier and less stressful for me to just go get this and then bring it back. And ever since then, my oldest every Christmas, say, Dad, when are we gonna get Cracker Barrel? And so that's become just a tradition that's happened.
That's cool.
It's fun.
Hmm.
It's easy, not too difficult. But then Christmas Eve night, we'll go to my parents' house and we'll play games. We'll have food. We'll watch a movie. That's been something we've done for a while, and that was really due to we didn't live in the same town as my parents for about 7 years, and so when we were having kids in that period of time, we would drive down from Madison, so about 45-minute drive to my parents' house, and so we would spend the night on Christmas Eve, and so that way we're not having to drive back with the kids, and they would spend the night, and so it just became a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's changed over the years where now we're in town and we're not spending the night, but we're still going over there and making that a thing for our family, and the kids look forward to it. We look forward to it. It's just a good time to be together. And then we'll do some driving around the neighborhood, looking at lights and stuff, Christmas lights, picking out our best or our favorites that we like. And we'll sometimes drive around again and look at them again. And so a lot of that stuff is what we've done in the past, and certainly look forward to it.
Awesome. How about you, DJ? Ours are kind of the same.
Yeah, it is. We intertwine.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's filled up. We do this with during October time too, but it's just filled up with a bunch of movies. Usually, the kids are 4 and my twins are 2, so they're still young. So we just do a bunch of Disney movies, and it's cool just to share those movies that I grew up with, and just to see their reaction to it. So we do movies probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 times a week. There's a movie night, and so we've kind of created that as a tradition during the holidays. And then, like Alex said, we do have a tradition that intertwines. Our in-laws are the same, so we are there on Christmas Eve together, opening up presents and spending time with that side of the family. And then on Christmas Day, it's with my family. Kind of put this in perspective on how chaotic this can get. My sister had 7 kids, and a few of them have kids now. And so it is just a wild madhouse. I'm like, where's my kids? I can't even find them in the shuffle of things. But we do a huge breakfast all together, and it's been something that we've done. And on that side of the family too, my mom, who has since passed away, but her tradition was to get everybody, all the grandkids and everything, 90s. So that was her tradition, that was her thing. So we still do that. My dad will buy everybody pajamas every year, and we'll show up for Christmas morning in those pajamas. We've kind of just held on to that tradition. And but yeah, what about you, Alec? Yeah.
Well, like you said, it's kind of the same thing for ours. It's gotten better for our in-laws, because we used to do 1:00 in the morning is when we'd open presents. That was a long night.
Yep.
But now that we've all had kids, it's changed a little. So now it's still like not super early, but it's like 8 or 9 o'clock, and then we all go our separate ways. But no, we when the kids were little, me and my wife kind of talked about like what we want to do. So we started off with they get a book and pajamas on Christmas Eve. And then it's kind of changed a little bit. We're still finding a good balance because we go to Vegas every year now for Christmas, mainly to see DJ and Jasmine. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that comment right now because my mom and my grandma's listen to this podcast, and we'll see what happens. But so Christmas Eve, it depends because my wife works retail and it's crazy season. So we try and leave Christmas Eve as early as possible to Vegas. So we get to her dad's house, then we get to my mom's and dad's house on Christmas morning. Then we go to her mom's house for Christmas dinner, and then we come home the next day. So it's a really quick trip, and so we had to find that time for our kids. So we I think this year are going to be doing it since we're coming back literally the day after Christmas. I think we're going to be opening Christmas presents this year. So it's kind of in a state of flux, but that's our main tradition is doing the pajamas and a book every year. And then like DJ said, we'll fill it up with Christmas movies and stuff. It's not really a Christmas movie, but we watched Sonic 2 last night because he's all excited about the new Sonic movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's coming out. I think it's already out, right?
I think it came out yesterday, yeah.
Yeah. My oldest wrote it on the calendar, so that's why I know.
There you go. But going back, like with movies and stuff, y'all, what are your favorite Christmas movies?
Oof. I would piggyback off you guys. You know, we do the movie nights. You know, only in December we can only watch Christmas movies, right? So it's like once December 1st hits, only Christmas movies, and we'll there's 5 of us. So what we'll do is we'll go by birth date. So whoever's January, you know, my wife goes first, and we just kind of keep that same order. So it tempers the chaos a little bit. Otherwise, it's my turn to pick. No, it's my turn. It's like, well, let's go by birthdays. It keeps it easy. Keeps the peace a little bit. But I would say probably like the new animated Grinch.
Oh, okay.
The Grinch. We really like that one. Our youngest likes that a lot. We've watched it, I think, 3 or 4 times already. So
that is a good one. What about you, buddy?
Live action Grinch obviously is a classic, and actually, my son, you know, he just likes. He's in the mood right now for villains, like anything that's on a little bit on the darker side. That's his go-to. So actually, he prefers more of the live Grinch than the animated Grinch at 4 years old, and so yeah, it's that one. That one is the top. I would say, you know, Home Alone.
Yes.
Yep.
1 or 2.
Although they've got
2.
That's
New York.
Good question.
Yep.
You know, I think I would go with 1, but 2 is it's a toss up. Really, it is, and
it's obviously Home Alone.
But I think well, yeah, I was going to say Home Alone has gotten crazy. I didn't know that there were so many Home Alones out there.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew all the way up to 3. I didn't know there's 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yeah. I'm like, what is going on? This is getting crazy and out of hand. It's like the Fast and Furious series.
Right. Yeah. Home Alone 17.
You're going to have Kevin out there doing drifts in the snow.
Up in space, you know. That's it. That's where he gets lost. You know, he's home alone in space. You know,
yeah, Home Alone in space.
Yeah. What about Yuck?
I was gonna say Home Alone 2. That's probably my favorite. Yeah, it's a good one. The Grinch, though. I mean, there's like 4 different Grinches now. There's the live action, there's the new cartoon, there's the original, and there's the musical. Don't watch the musical. It's kind of weird. But Jim Carrey did come out because he's been doing all the Sonic stuff, and he did say that he would like to do Grinch and a sequel to the Grinch, as long as they can figure out a better way to do the makeup, because it's like doing it the first time was like torture, I guess. So
I could imagine.
Yeah. I'd be down for a new Grinch movie. He even talked about a new Mask movie, which would be pretty sweet.
Oh yes,
mm-hmm.
That's a throwback.
Yeah.
Oh, Jim Carrey.
Oh, Jim Carrey.
Oh, Jim Carrey.
But yeah. Okay. I do have a question though. Is Die Hard? DJ, have you seen Die Hard?
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
That is the question that haunts everybody around holiday season.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it's so ingrained in everyone's minds, at least the older generation that's watched it, it's a Christmas movie. For like the newer generation, they're like, how is this Christmas?
Right.
You know,
Like it takes
that's my
place
take.
at a Christmas party, y'all, on Christmas Eve.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
there is
How
a
can?
new one on Netflix. It's Carry On with Taron
Yes,
Egerton. That one's good.
I saw that. Yeah, that was good.
That's got some Die Hard vibes to it.
Sure does.
Yeah, DJ, you need to watch it with Jasmine.
Will do.
Put
Will
it in the
do. I'll
queue.
put it on my list. Yep.
Not a kid movie, but yeah, it's a good one. You guys do Elf on a Shelf, Joe?
Absolutely not. Okay, I did write that one down because I know some people love it, and that's great. I'm not a big fan of it just because I feel I've seen my friends in posts of people being stressed out about it, like, oh shoot, I forgot. What do I need to do? Like, I got to think of a new scene. I feel like as parents, like we're already stressed out to the max. Maybe you're not. That's great, but I would say for me personally, we don't do it just because we do other things. You know. Yeah, that's all I got on that one.
We have two elves.
12s.
DJ's got.
How's that going for you guys?
They tend to stay in the same spot for more than a day or two. It's like you said, there's a lot going on, and they forget to move sometimes.
Holiday
DJ,
season,
right? They get into a nice, comfy spot, and then it's like seeing what they see. You know, they just like to be able to view the entire house. Is what it is.
Yeah, they're house watching.
Yeah,
people watching.
So like right now, I think they're on top of our tree. One of them's hugging the star, and the other one's buried in the tree somewhere. About you, DJ? How is your elf?
Yeah, we have one elf. Her name is Sandy, and the name came from, so when Goofy says Santa in one of the movies, he's like Sandy, and so I just started saying it to our kids, and then our kids thought our elf's name was Sandy, so then that's just how that name came about. So we went with it, and so Sandy is our elf. And to your point, I have seen a lot of people post, "Oh my gosh, my kid touched the elf. What do I do? My elf didn't move last night, and my kid is questioning whether I've been lying to them." And it just creates unnecessary stress. So if it's creating stress for you, maybe consider like it being the last year. Maybe figure out a way to just have it not be stressful. Like just come up with ideas that are just moving the elf somewhere.
Yeah.
Because they can just be in a funny place. It doesn't have to be super elaborate. I feel like people go all out for the elf. That's not us.
Yeah.
Well, like my wife, we had this like Lego web thing. So she put. I should probably talk quieter. I hear my kids up. Anyways, yes, we'll table that. Anyways, but we have our elf named Sandy, and it's not stressful for us really at all. We just keep it that way. And actually there is a prepared, we were up until midnight last night. She was wrapping presents and I was making snowballs out of pieces of paper, and they're about to have a snowball fight with their elf this morning. So my hands hurt from crumpling up paper. I didn't realize that would, I didn't realize how much like the poking of the paper would hurt. But, after your 70th piece of paper starts really hurting. Anyways, so that's a new pain that I never felt. But yeah, no, it's for us it's been cool. It's been fun. Oh, one tradition is Sandy always brings them a book. My kids love reading. That's one of their things. We read to them almost every night, and we have tons and tons of books. They have a great library of books, and some of those books have been torn up and we've taped. More my wife has done the surgery on the books, every year she brings them a book, and
That's
usually
awesome.
we get it through, I think it's like Wonderly or whatever it's called, but they create a book specifically with your family in it.
That's cool.
So that's something that we've started a tradition that started last year. So we just received the book and we looked through it last night too. So yeah, it's cool.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I will say, To your point, where it's like the stress of Elf on the Shelf, of coming up with these elaborate scenes, and you're just like you're saying, keep it simple, keep it
Mm-hmm.
to a point where you're not stressing out. And so if that's keeping them in roughly the same area and they're just doing a different pose, I think social media can be great, but I think it also can provide a false reality of seeing a video on social media of how that person has created this elaborate scene of Elf on the Shelf, and
Mm-hmm.
now I'm feeling not worthy or good
Mm-hmm.
enough because of the
Right.
way my scenes that I've done for Elf on the Shelf is not grandioso in comparison to what I just watched. And so now you're internalizing all of these things of I need to step up my game, when in reality you probably don't. Right? I
Mm-hmm.
think it's that false you know just feeling of you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a right way to do it in that sense. You got to do what, like you're saying, DJ. It's what's in your capacity for doing
Right.
it.
Yeah. Don't over stress yourself. It's like, honestly, it's a tradition that everybody has their own spin. It's like everything, really. Right. I looked up the top 10 holiday traditions, and almost everybody falls into watch Christmas movies, wear an ugly sweater, exchange gifts. But the thing is, it doesn't look the same for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just right now, Alec has a Darth Vader one. I have, we're a Snoopy themed one. You have a onesie. It's not the same. So when you're on social media and you're looking at all these people posting about the elaborate ones, well, there's also people who are doing it simple. It just whatever fits within your capacity, whatever fits within that budget of time that you have, just do it.
Yep.
And if you don't even have capacity for it, guess what? It's okay. You don't
Yep.
have to do it.
Absolutely.
Like, if your kids go to school and they're like, well, why don't we do that? You can just come up with, well, we have different traditions. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's then you can have that conversation with your kids. It's because everybody is different. Like, it's not. Yeah, I just feel like we get into the mode of wanting to compare, wanting to be the same as everybody. That's what causes stress around the holiday season, not anything else. That, like, yeah. So
Yeah, absolutely.
When that goes into, as dads and us feeling the pressure of this season, what kind of things do we do to not cope, but kind of handle the stress of the season? Because it can be a bit crazy for dads. Like, we have that sense of, okay, we got to make sure everything's perfect.
Yeah, I think definitely it's finding that balance. I think sometimes we can have these expectations of what the holidays are supposed to look like, and I think in reality, our kids just want that quality time
Mm.
together,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and whether that's the simplistic version, I really think it comes down to the comparison. Honestly, I think as parents, we can look at what everyone else is doing or what you see, like again, what you see, and then we start to internalize, well, I'm not that. And so I must not be doing something right. And that's not true.
Mm.
Like I'm a firm believer in like parenting is going to be different for every
Mm-hmm.
child. Parenting styles are not the same. There's not a cookie cutter approach as to this is how you should parent your
Right.
kids. Right? We have to adapt, and I think those expectations we need to be mindful of, because that can, like you're saying, that can cause a lot of stress for us, which doesn't make the holidays fun. I mean, your kids are going to sense that. You're going to feel that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You might have outbursts. You might, and it's just, I think also just realizing if you don't have traditions, like your traditions are going to come. Like you'll find them in time, what works for you, and whether that's passing on traditions that you've done as a kid or your spouse has done as a kid, those are starting points. But I think it's certainly balancing what's in your capacity, what's in your ability today to make the holidays fun for your kids and your family.
Yeah, 100%. Because, like, you don't have to have the most glamorous, like, crazy Christmas. Like you said, just on social media, we do that comparison. What's called the there's a term for it, but it's like we use that comparison. We're like, oh, well, they got this amazing tree. Look at my crappy little tree. Like, and we start to do that to ourselves, and we get in our own heads sometimes where it's like, well, why isn't my Christmas look like their Christmas and all this stuff? But like, it goes back to what you said. Just your kids don't give a crap about what your house looks like or how big. Well, they do how big the presents are, but they want mom and dad. They want that time spent because at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Because a toy, they're not going to remember that toy in a year. It's going to remember, oh yeah, do you remember last Christmas we did the popcorn balls or we did this or this, and that's
Mm-hmm.
what truly matters instead of, oh, you remember that lightsaber I got that's now probably in a trash heap somewhere because it's broken, you know. So we I think we just forget sometimes that that is more important and the memory making is more important than the toy. So
Yeah, to kind of piggyback, and the word I heard was fun. Just keep it lighthearted, keep it fun, and just think right now. Do you have memories of all the gifts that you got when you were a kid,
Mm-hmm.
or was it the time that, like Joe was saying and Alec was saying, creating memories? Because I feel like it's more of those traditions of stuff that we did together as a family that I remember more. I remember some of the gifts that I got, but those don't hold as much weight as the memories of stuff that we did together do.
Mm-hmm.
And so just keep that in mind too. Like, you all also like don't have to get the most expensive items during this time. Like, retail is a like they'll market to you and tell you you need the best, the top of the line, you know, game system for your kid, or the top of the line toy that can do all these cool things. But at the end of the day, like, if you we're talking about capacity, we're talking about budget, like not only budgeting your time but budgeting your finances too. If you can't do that, don't fall into comparison where you're getting into debt and you're having stress bleed into the next year because you're worried how am I going to pay this off? How am I going to,
mm-hmm.
like, because then it just trickles down to your kids. So what was supposed to be fun now is stressful, and they feel that weight. And then not only is it just for this little season, you've created it for the next few months, and they're feeling that stress too. So it's like, just don't compare.
Yeah.
Just do what is within your capacity and have fun and create memories. And I guarantee you, maybe your kids don't understand it right now. Maybe they'll complain about what their friends got or whatever. But when they're older and they're an adult, they'll appreciate the time that you spent with them. Truly.
Yeah. I think we worry a lot as parents, like you're saying, of what are my kids going to remember growing up?
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the quality versus quantity. We've had that conversation with our kids of, hey, the older you get, the things that you want, the things that you like are going to change. Mm-hmm. When you're a kid, a lot of the things that we get you are maybe not as expensive, but it's focusing on, like you're saying, the quality of time, and again, the budgeting of Christmas has gone way out of whack, where expectations are we have to have the floor covered in presents. We can't, it's going to be hard to walk. We have to get to the tree because there's so many presents and gifts. I understand like the excitement and anticipation of gift opening, kids love that. I remember seeing presents and like, yeah, this is amazing. Right. But to your point, DJ, like I don't remember a lot of the toys that I got. I mean, there's one or two that I remember. It's really something I wanted, and then opening it and just mind being blown. You actually got me it, but it's more of the traditions that we pass down that we remember. Popcorn balls, those. I mean, to your point, my oldest again asking and being really excited about breakfast on Christmas Eve. He doesn't tell me, hey, Dad, remember that one year that you got me that lightsaber? Like, can we get that again? It's like, right. They don't want the same toy. They want the same quality time because it brings those memories. It brings that happiness, that joy, and that togetherness that I think is priceless. You can't put a price tag on that quality time. And those are the things that I think we need to focus on, and not just the gift side. The gifts are fun. I think that's like a part of it, that's not the main thing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I
And
will say though.
talking about, oh, go ahead, sorry. Go ahead, Alec.
I was gonna say I do remember one of my past gifts. My favorite thing I ever got. It's the Red Ryder pump action BB gun, and I
It
may have
shoots right
shot my
in
eye out.
the
Yeah.
um,
head.
but yeah, no, just to kind of like piggyback all of that, um, and just kind of get into a little bit heavier topic, but we're talking about mental health, and the biggest thing I feel like that you can do to go against your mental health is to isolate yourself. And so we're talking about like really digging in and having quality time with people that you love and surrounding yourself with those people is crucial and important even during this time, like just finding people that friends, family, anybody that you can really get around. And I don't know what it is, just I spend just even like 30 minutes with my kids and I instantly feel better. Just being around them, playing, just being around their imagination and how they come up with things. It just, I don't know, it just kind of makes me feel whole. And so I can have the worst day and get home and it's like, this feels good. Like I needed to be around people. And so if I could encourage anybody during this season, like it's just find something, whether that's going to a church and just getting around people, whether that's, even going to a mall and walking around with people. Um, just getting around people and just having that quality time is something that is important. Don't stress yourself about anything else other than being around family, being around friends, especially during this season. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree on that for sure. I think to your point, it's easy to, I think, I feel like it's just a lot of things. Like you have January to December. December is the last month of the year, and so I think for a lot of people, it's a pressure maybe of work, deadlines, and things that you might be dealing with, where people just want to reprieve and they want to seclude themselves because that's the easy thing to do.
Yeah.
It's easy to isolate. It's easy to kind of internalize and be in our own headspace. And while it's good to, I think through your thoughts and what you're feeling, don't don't stay there, right?
right.
Like to your point, DJ, it's very important to get involved in the community. If whether that's taking your, in our town we have a lot of events, especially around the holidays, that you can go out to and be part of. And I think if you're struggling with like what traditions you start there, right? Those are ways to get out and about and creating memories and just being part of a community. But it's also, I think, being intentional, that we have to choose to kind of pull ourselves out of that isolation and to be present in what's happening around us in our environment. Like, what am I sensing? What am I smelling? What am I feeling? Because that really puts us into the present, I think. And so that's been a big help for myself, my wife especially, who's really helped me notice when I'm feeling triggered or feeling like like there's just a lot of stress buildup. I feel it in my chest a lot. And so learning to kind of recognize it. What are ways that I can recognize this buildup of stress so I'm not snapping on my kids, or I'm not, taking it out on them when they had nothing to do with what that buildup is. And so it's very much being mindful of our present and what's happening around us, because there's moments that are fleeting, right? That we're going to miss, and so we're not going to be able to capture every moment. But I think this season is very much family driven. It's very much traditions driven, and we want to be able to create those memories for our kids going forward.
100%. Yeah. I feel like with the stress and everything, it gets overwhelming so fast, and then we just have to take that moment and just pull ourselves out sometimes, and that's can be the hardest thing to do. For a lot of people, like I was that way, not for Christmas time, but I was that way for a while after things happen in life, and I just had to find that thing to pull myself out. And podcasting, church, you just got to find that one thing, and it'll be worth it.
The holiday blues are real sometimes for people, especially like you're saying, DJ. We the build up to Christmas, it's here, and then January, February, depending on how we're handling it, you could be paying for it the next 3 months, and so it's really, I think, taking an inventory of your family. Like, we have to think as like, this is my family, this is my little tribe, this is your little village, your little town, however you want to see it, right? My city is different from your city.
Yep.
State is different from state. And so really, I think what's going to make your family healthy, what's going to make your family benefit, what's going to work for your family may not work for your family, Alec, your family, DJ, and that's okay. I really think it's not a cookie cutter approach, and so the quality versus quantity, of time, of everything is really important.
Yep.
Don't let the stress of what you see, that you don't have to copy that. You don't have to copy what's being done just to feel like you're going to give your kids a better Christmas because of something you saw on the social medias. But it's really realizing that kids are simple. They want the simple things, and that's okay too.
Yeah,
agreed. Yeah, and to piggyback all that, I did just think about something when you mentioned that you have like stuff in your town, that there's stuff to do. Like, we literally fill up our entire month of just activities, stuff that we just like. Even during this time, Home Depot and Lowe's, they do crafts with the kids, and it's like ornament themed, and it's surrounded around Christmas and the holidays, and so like just getting out and doing anything and everything, just creating that quality time. It doesn't have to just be one day, because okay, Christmas is on one day, but I feel like people like build it up to that one day, and you could be having so much more fun throughout the month and have it be super light and fun. And I feel like we stress all the way up to that day. We kind of enjoy the day, but then we have family that we're going around and we're doing our rounds, and like it just, if you just have it light the entire month, that day just seems like another day within December. So, yeah, but good question. What are some pro tips? So my wife, she is great at this. We will start like in June and July buying gifts. So we're not super like stressed, like trying to find something last minute. So what are some pro tips that you guys have to reduce the stress so that you're not so like scrambled and frazzled during December?
Something that I've done, I don't know when I started, honestly, but Amazon shopping cart, save for later, is a lifesaver. So throughout the year, if there's a toy, or my wife mentions something, or my kids mention something, I'll search on Amazon and I'll add it to my cart and save for later. So
Smart.
That way, like come Christmas time, I can go back to my save for later and see it there. I'm like, oh yeah, he had mentioned this, and so I'll kind of circle back, because literally my kids will change their mind on Christmas gifts within a month. I thought you said you wanted this. No, I'm onto something different now. And so circle back for sure on that stuff, but that's been a time saver, so I'm not stressing out. And I think too, it's easier to buy gifts for people that you're living life with, right? So your family, your kids, your wife, your spouse. It's harder to maybe think about gifts for people that you're not necessarily seeing as often, as to what they might like, what they don't want. But I would say for our family, it's the Amazon Save for Later has been a lifesaver.
That's cool. That's definitely a good one. Yeah,
I might have to add that to my repertoire.
Yeah. For me, I mean, I don't know if I have a pro tip. I do have one tip, and that's buy the right eggnog. It's a stupid one. DJ knows we bought soy eggnog when he was here, and it was gross.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't recommend that.
Was that an accident, or are you guys lactose intolerant?
So we bought the good eggnog for me and him because there was only one left, and then the kids all want eggnog. So I was like, well,
Dude.
there's soy eggnog. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, if you ever feel like you don't want to listen to three dads talk about Christmas, I swear if I wasn't married, I would find this woman and she would be my wife. Her name's Delilah, and she is my Christmas. I love Delilah, y'all. She's on the radio host. I don't know if you all heard her, but there's not a Christmas in like the last 15 years that I have not had Delilah in my car. And she is just the most soothing, positive person on the radio during Christmas time, and it's amazing. So that's my pro tip. Listen to Delilah. I don't know the audit. It's different everywhere for the stations.
Delilah.
Sunny 106.5, I think it is in Vegas, but yeah.
It is.
Does she just talk, or she has like Christmas music? And
she does Christmas music, but she has people on, and she's just such a soft voice, and she just gives them tips and stuff for the season, and it's amazing. Yeah.
Yep.
You need that. You need that calmness in the month of December.
Because it can be, like we've talked about, it gets crazy fast, and sometimes people go crazy with it. So
yeah, that is true.
Oh, here is a pro tip. Don't feel the pressure if you cannot afford it, or you cannot do it, whatever, and you live far away from your family. Don't feel the pressure of having to go, especially when you have a family of your own. Like with 3 kids, it's not cheap if I had to fly to the East Coast.
Or
like
Vegas.
Just don't necessarily feel the pressure of having to be there. Like if you can't afford it, or you just don't have the time, or it's more important to spend quality time with the family that you do have, with the kids and with your spouse, than it is to stress yourself out about going to, like Alec driving to Vegas. If that ended up being like where they just absolutely couldn't afford it, don't drive to Vegas. Just don't stress yourself out. Like I feel like it's again that comparison thing. Like you have to, or you're feeling the pressure from your family. Oh, I can't believe that you're not coming out to see me. Like, that's really jacked up. And it's like, well, I can try to please you and absolutely stress myself out and stress my kids and my wife out, or we can enjoy this time and I don't have to, go and be a people pleaser. So that's another tip that I have. Like, don't feel that pressure to go see family if you just absolutely can't.
Absolutely. I would piggyback off of that, DJ, in the sense that we're not in charge of other people's emotions. To the point of you have to do what's right for your family, your kids and your wife. Like that's your family. I understand you have your extended family, your mom, your dad, your in-laws and stuff, and you have get-togethers and traditions that you may do, but at the end of the day, if it's going to cause stress, financial stress, or just emotional stress, depending on the situation, for sure. I mean, I think that's hard. I think it's hard for people to want to stand up for themselves and kind of create that boundary for fear of the what if, the retaliation, or the well, you're just the guilt, maybe a guilt trip. I don't know, and I think it's hard, especially if it's new to you doing that, to kind of create that boundary, because then you feel like you're in trouble. Like you've made a mistake, like you're not doing it right. How dare you? And so I think it's very important and healthy to do that, and be okay with that, because you're not in charge of how they're going to respond, and that's one thing that we try to teach our kids is if, like Elijah, our second born, he is so generous, so giving, and when something good happens to him, whether he wins a card or wins something, he tries to almost justify him winning because he feels like he wants to give it to his brother, because his brother didn't win it. And teaching him to say, hey, no, you won that. Like, enjoy it. Like, be happy. Like, you won that. That's awesome. You know, you're not in charge of your brother's emotions for being upset or sad that he didn't win what you won. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah,
It's just like,
absolutely.
and so I think same as parents, like we make a decision and we have to be confident in the decisions that we're making for our family, because at the end of the day, that's who I go. That's who I go home to.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I go home to my wife. I go home to my kids, and that's what's important to me.
Yep.
And that's what it should be. I mean, as soon as you take those vows and you have your children, that's your family and parents and grandparents, and that becomes extended. You know, and you gotta, that stress can be real when your parents are, when you want to see you all the time. That's kind of like not stressful, but like that's kind of as for us where DJ's saying like that day comes so fast where, you know, my wife works Christmas Eve. We drive through the night to get there on Christmas Eve. We spend all day Christmas driving to houses, and then we come home the next day. So we kind of feel that, you know, but do we see our family once a year? Yeah, and that's why we do it. But it does come with that stress of, all right, well, kids, you ready to go spend Christmas in the car? You know, so. Yep. Well, it's Christmas time. We're having a good time. Merry Christmas, y'all. Happy Hanukkah, if anybody doesn't Hanukkah. Other traditions. Yeah. Oh well, no. Happy Hanukkah, Joe. To our father-in-law's name is Joe, and he's Jewish.
Hey, it's a good name.
Mm-hmm.
You're not biased at all, huh?
Not at all.
No.
It's the best name out there.
Right. If you're having a kid and you're having a boy and you want to name, Joe is it.
There you go.
Joe
There it is.
The name
Joe
of
is the name.
2024.
Yeah. We'll start early. The name of 2025.
Yeah, there we go. We got to get ahead of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, going into talking about 2025, we got one more episode of Fatherhood Unscripted for the year. Comes out next week. We'll end the year strong. Joe, as always, where can they find you? What kind of cool things you got going on over you at You Matter Dad?
Yeah, so you can find me on TikTok, Instagram. Those are the two main ones I've been doing. So yeah, just focusing on just the continuous content, building dads up, reminding them that they matter, that they're important, that your presence showing up every day means a lot to your kids. And again, it's a quality over quantity. Being all in those fleeting moments with your kids are so important. It's a foundation that they're going to grow up having, you know, a dad in their lives, a strong dad in their lives, and just encouraging dads to continue to fight for their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a battle, dude. It's a battle sometimes, you know, and so, yeah, certainly keep the fight, keep going. I know the stress of the holidays can certainly be weighing on a lot of dads and families, and so just remember the reason for the season. It's the biggest takeaway.
Yeah.
But appreciate you guys having me on.
100%. Yeah. Hopefully we have you back again. You know.
Absolutely, we love it.
We'll see you guys next episode.
See you next episode.
Merry Christmas.
See you soon. Merry Christmas.